What's up, everybody? You're listening to another episode of the SignatureCAST, where we talk bodybuilding, business, and everything in between. Back here in the Signature Fitness Studios, once again, recurring over and over and over, but he's one of my best buds. Manj is in the house, Coach Manj to be exact, and some of his star athletes, juniors becoming seniors. We've got Jayden and we got Bodie. What's up, guys? Coming from Verona, you have already transformed the program. Manj, I'm going to start with you. What was it like starting coaching there, the culture, and how did you have to change it?
Well, Verona has a strong culture, just all in all. Always had strong roots in the background. So going there from Glenridge was something different. We definitely had to change the program around. Coming from a 2-8 record, bringing them to 7-4, getting a playoff win for the first time since 2019 at home. It was huge, but it took these guys here, the seniors, of course, that paved the way, believing in what we do and the culture change. That's what it really was, culture.
Yeah, that's why I love. I mean, I've noticed, we've talked about many times here, just there's a cultural shifts always happening, but especially within sports, with the youth, we're trying to push them in the right direction, make them work hard. Bodie, I'll get my first question to you. Yep. When Manj first came on, what did you think about him? Be honest.
I was pumped because if I'm being totally honest, like the last coach we had in here, He didn't put in a lot of effort. The team was fighting. It was messed up. The culture was messed up. But Coach Manj, the first thing he said when he met us, he actually bought us pizza the first day. So we were pretty pumped about that. But the first thing he said is he wanted to bring back the culture, and he did that by bringing a few of our coaches, Coach Crawford, Coach Rick, Coach Bill, and they all played at Verona.
Okay.
So we were pretty pumped about that.
And Bodie, what position do you play?
I'm a running back and middle linebacker.
Very nice. Yeah. And then Jayden, for you, same thing. What position do you play, and what was your first thoughts of Coach Manj when he came onto the team?
At first I was a little questionable, knowing that he coached at Glenridge. He beat us. I didn't know if he really liked us after that, but he did come in with some pizza, which the pizza was good. And after that, I actually went up to him and shook his hand. I actually got in touch with him on Instagram and Twitter. So he got back to me. He asked what position I was, how I play, what I think going into the next year. And at that point, I just thought that this guy was legit and he was fully locked in, and I was totally ready for this upcoming year and for my junior year and how I can improve my skill and my work ethic. So, I also play wide receiver and DB. I'm flexible. I play quarterback, running back.
So, Manj, obviously there was a reason why you picked these two young gentlemen to come on the podcast today. What made these two stick out of the rest of the crowd? I know you have a ton of amazing athletes, but when you texted me this morning, you were like, I got two guys coming to the podcast. Can we make it happen? And, of course, we said yes.
So with Bodie, he's a two-time captain. 4-year starter. This will be his 4th year. Hopefully he starts this year. He's been 4-year starter. GPA is one thing. Look at that. He has a 3.7 GPA, which is huge. Jayden, on the other hand, his 4.2 GPA. Another great student athlete. They're both captains. We have 5 captains on the team. These are 2 captains, 2 guys that like to be in front of the camera, like to talk, like to do things. They're go-to guys that can lean on in the building, and they push the team. Not saying the rest of the team doesn't push each other, but these 2 guys are major players.
Well, and that's something you brought up, which I think is super, super important, right? And that is, these are student athletes, right? So student come first. So we just said, GPA, right? You said 4.2 for Jayden and 3.7. Absolutely fantastic. I know even myself, I think the best I ever had was like a 3.5, which isn't that bad. But Manj, tell the people at home, everybody listening, how important the mind is in this game, and why having a good GPA is a great way to show that these aren't just a bunch of lunks on the field. They really know when you tell them what to do, how to execute, and all that type of stuff. So
the major thing is beyond college. So if you can't do your homework, how can you remember our playbook? How can I trust you? So your grades are something we trust, okay? Colleges trust your grades too. So we had so far about maybe 32 colleges come in since I got there in last February, a couple D1s. We had, a couple of Ivies check us out. Bodie actually saw Brown in Columbia, took a visit over there. But they're always looking at us. So the major thing is if your GPA is below a 3.2, 3.3, you're out of my weight room. Okay, so there's standards on this team, keeping the GPA up. The colleges come in, but also it's good for these guys. These guys to say, hey, I'm working towards something, and that's really your money. And your money is your GPA. So if you don't care about making that money and you don't care about that, how are you going to care about the program? Yeah. So with the weight room, why I kick you out of there? Because if you could get in the weight room at 6 a.m., 6:30 in the morning to work out with this, why can't you do your homework,
Yeah, that's a great point. And Jayden, I'll put this question to you first. as you said, it's so important to be able to get your schoolwork done, right? And looking towards college in the future. Now, I went to a D1 school. I didn't play football. I was a tuba player in the marching band. But just, having a large stature and seeing these athletes and how big they are. And I say this in the nicest way, because I think, I don't know what the percentage is, but I know it's super small, the amount of kids that make it to college that actually end up in the NFL, right? It's like a very, very small percentage, right? So now, of course, I'm sure you want to play in college, right? No matter what level it's at. Yeah. But have you started to think beyond college and things you might want to do in that sense?
Beyond college, my dad works in finance and insurance, so he's in the business industry. And my parents were big on grades. They were always big into school. Being able to balance football and school. They were big on, school always came first. If I didn't get school done, football was out of my view. So they said if I can't work in school and get what I want to do with my life and my path in front of me and know what I want to do that's steady in my life, then I can't do what I want to do that can satisfy me like football. I can't do like any other fun activities outside of school. But yeah, beyond college, the percentage of reaching the NFL is small. Also, me being not really height-wise. Me having to focus on my grades, on my education. So yeah, I was big into the business industry, and if not that, I was probably going to enter into engineering, which I know you have to kind of get big on and be smart. But yeah, what also stuck with me was being able to correlate your education to the field. And like Coach said, he always told us that in high school, it was 85% of people know what they're doing on the field. Or was it 75, 85?
75, 80%, yep.
Yeah, and then when you reach college, it's like 90%, and then D1 level is like 95, and then NFL 100. So we were always big on that as well. Yeah. So if you don't know what you're doing in school, then you won't know what you're doing on the field. What you talked about, if you can't trust your homework, you can't trust the playbook. So I was always big on that.
Bodie, same question for you, like moving forward. Don't mind me, I'm just going to.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Yep. So, yeah, same question.
Yeah, moving forward past college, I'm a little different than Jayden. I have no idea yet. But I know that if I work hard now, opportunities are going to open up for me. And that's the goal. I mean, there's things I'm into. You know what I mean? I actually volunteer at the fire department in my town. I'm into that. I'm into, like, hands-on stuff because, like, my dad actually owns a business, Mazzano Builders. And, like, it's just him. He's residential contracting. I help him out a lot with that. And, yeah, just kind of –
bagpiping. Come on now.
Oh, true. Yeah. I'm actually I'm a bagpiper in Essex.
I knew I liked this guy.
Yeah.
I knew it.
Yeah,
musically inclined. Yeah. Jayden, just get the hell out of here. No, okay, that's awesome. And I want to say something to you. Don't put yourself down just because you don't know what you want to do in the future. When I went to school, I thought I wanted to study one thing. I ended up switching halfway through, and honestly, like what I'm doing now is completely different than what I did in college. But the point is we need tradesmen. We need people who can work with their hands, because just because someone might be really smart doesn't mean they know how to do all those things. So everything is valuable. Yeah. And it's great, Jayden, that you want to do finance, stuff like that, business. Bodie, that might be something you think about too. Just maybe you could take over your father's business one day, like definitely. Going to school for business or just something along those lines to learn a new way of thinking, right? A new way to establish how you're going to move forward into, Geez, we're already in 2025, man.
I know, that's crazy.
But so, say, like we've talked about the future, right? I don't want to say that your high school career is over. You got a whole year moving forward, right? What are some of the memories that you've already established with now Manj Coach? Like this past season, was there anything that stuck out to either of you that was like, man, that was an epic game, or this happened or that happened?
I think the one thing I remember, when the culture finally shifted, everyone knew like Coach Manj was the real deal, is when so we had a 7-on-7 at Verona. It was first ever. And we filmed the whole thing. And we had a bunch of guys going over to the fence. The fence is right by the field. And they were talking to kids who aren't on the team, just chatting it up during the games and stuff. And Coach Manj, he wrote down every single time a kid went to the fence. And then the next day we ran to that fence, to the other fence. And we kept running until we didn't stop. And we were listening to Change Is Gonna Come by Sam Cooke, right?
On repeat.
On repeat. And we were just running that fence.
14 minutes on repeat. It's a 2-minute song.
No one went to that fence again. No one went to the fence again.
That is true.
I love it. Manj, do you have any questions for these young men here?
I mean, if I had to put them on the spot, what do you think was the most entertaining part of this season from the coaching standpoint, from all the coaches we had, 'cause we had a lot of coaches going on. So what was your most entertaining thing? I know the one, but we're going to talk about that because whatever happens in the locker room stays there. But I know that there's some entertaining stuff that they got to see from different cultures and everything.
Here, I'll take this one. One thing I would say that stuck out to me as coaches was not just the fact that coaches love players and players love coaches, was the fact that coaches love coaches. So if players execute on the field, we saw that coaches came together, got excited, hyped each other up, saying good play, good this, good that, like good call. But you guys always kept the bond together, and at practice it was funny. You guys would laugh and everything like that. So, but you guys all connected. We had ups and downs, but at the end of the day, we were always up, never down at the end.
Yeah, and there's something, like, we keep getting back everyone at home about how important culture is, right? Actually, a good friend of mine is a motivational speaker, Jay Duran. His whole branding is called Culture Matters, right? Because culture, whether it's in a business or a team or at school, whatever it is, really defines who you are as a person and how you develop, right? Now, we have a massive culture out there, right, of, grinding hard, hitting the weights, all that type of stuff. Manj, I've had now many of your players come in. We were just talking about Jake, one of your previous players. Yeah. Great guy, moving on to, big things. And how important has the weight room been to these young athletes, and how has it changed their mindset and their culture?
So the weight room for me is a place for them to fail, okay? Because if they could fail in the weight room and they can continue to fail in there, they're always going to have somebody to pick them up. They're always going to say, hey, if I fumbled the ball, if I made a missed block, or I threw an interception, or something happened bad on the field, they already failed in the weight room in front of their peers, in front of their players. So they always know they'll have to be embarrassed or ashamed and try to get the get back. In other words, they find ways to get better off of that. In the classroom, same thing. They walk through the halls, same thing. So in our school, really, the football program, I want everybody to know that these guys are part of a culture change, and everything that we do, we have to support one another. But the weight room is where we all learn each other's habits, bad habits, good habits. Hell, we're in there at 6:15 in the morning. And these guys sometimes got to roll out of bed, get there to put the work in, but then the work shows, and they have a great day at school, to get started. And I want them to understand that being working men one day, to get out there in the real world, getting up early and to support the family. So right now they're supporting themselves, but also putting their family's name on their back as they come to the weight room, and putting Verona first before anything else. Before we talk about colleges, they have to worry about Verona football. That's the main thing. Yeah.
Now, for both of you strapping young lads, favorite lift in the gym and why?
Yeah, I'm going with the squat. You can't beat the
My
squat.
man.
I'm going with the squat. You can't beat it. You feel everything when you're doing that, man.
What was your max squat recently, Bodie?
I got 455.
455 for a squat.
So
Nice, very good.
yeah.
And what's your weight at? Like 220?
No, I'm more like I'd say like 180, 185.
He's a big 185.
Yeah.
He's big. That's good.
Definitely solid.
Working on it though.
More pizza. We need more pizza.
Yeah, we do.
More. For me, I would say my favorite lift is also a squat. It proves how much power you have in the legs, and legs are big in football.
Yeah.
But besides that, I would say I like the clean.
Okay.
Hang clean. It shows how explosive you are.
Yeah.
And it really puts forth your explosiveness into the sport.
Yeah.
But yeah, no.
So you're a track guy too?
Yeah, track. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Track. So I think it all comes from the legs, and with the legs, you can follow through in your upper body, which is why I focus on the hang clean. It kind of works out all of the body.
Sure.
But yeah, I'm also big on that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I know when Manj and I first started, becoming friends and talking about how he was going to coach his athletes. I don't remember what school it was. I think it probably was Glen Ridge. You said many of them hadn't hit the weights much yet, right? And we just talked about the importance of the lower body, right? Simple things, squats, hex bar deadlifts, just things that are going to tax the lower half, because that is what's really taking a beating. And it's the driving force, right? I did track as well in high school. I was a shot putter, and everything comes from the ground. Whether you're sprinting, whether you're trying to shove somebody across the field, no matter what it is, right? It all stems from the ground up. So that's super, super important. It's good to hear that too, that they love squats, Manj. That's great. The typical answer to most high school football players is, I love the bench.
Yeah.
We got a bench 315. It's going to be good. No, but that's really cool. So, Manj, season is going to be coming up sooner than you know it, right? What's the game plan for Verona this upcoming season?
The best thing right now is that we have we're basically loading up with a bunch of freshmen. 8th graders are coming in. We got about 20 plus. So that's huge. We're going from a number of 32 players up to 50 something. We got also players in the building that now want to play football. Major goal is week 0, St. Mary's at West Orange on August 28th. That's our, one game at a time. These guys already know college is going to be where college is. But right now we worry about Verona football. 7-on-7s are coming and OTAs and all that stuff. That's great. But, I don't want the seniors I want them to understand, rather, every day is their last day. So today, basically, today's February 6th, I believe. So this is their last February 6th in the weight room or coming into a gym with me as a football player of Verona. So every day that it counts, and you got to make it count. But the future holds in these guys' hands because the seniors before them actually paved a nice road.
And how did we finish off last season?
Continue. Like, honestly, we know where we lost that last game. We know where we lost that and how we lost and why. And this is where we're going to pick up and continue to go. Like, to get the playoff win, that was great. At home, that was awesome. But now it's time to get the rings. It's time to not look past anybody, but go get it.
All right. I think the best way we can close this out is I'm going to ask this question to both Jayden and Bodie. And Jayden, we'll start with you. What are you going to do differently? What is a promise that you can make to your coach, to your left right now, that's going to make you a better player and a better person this upcoming season?
Something I could change this season from last season is to be more of a leader and be more exemplary to the players behind me. He said there's a big freshman class coming up, which is true. There's like 20-something coming up. So being able to be more exemplary and have them look up to me in my skill position and my group, and even those who aren't in my skill position, being able to look up to me as a player and as a person on the field and off the field is huge for this next upcoming season. So I think if players can adapt to the seniors' work ethic and my work ethic, I think that we're going to be a great team, and I think that we're going to be unstoppable.
Bodie, that's a tough act to follow.
Yeah. Following along with Jayden's lines, I think we really do have to set an example for this upcoming freshman class because, I think, obviously, we all want to win a ring. We're going to win a ring. But we want these guys coming up to win a ring also. That's what culture's all about. We got to pave the road for them, continue to let them grow, and especially on the defensive side of the ball, I want everyone on the field to know exactly what they're doing always. So if that means having captain meetings, bringing the defense in, teaching guys what to do, I'm going to make sure it happens. Everyone needs to know what to do.
I love it. Manj, we've never done this before.
What's that?
I'm going to let you finish out, but this is a message to the rest of the team who couldn't be here. Some words of motivation, some guiding thoughts of how we're going to move forward into next season.
All right, so the closing for the whole program and the whole team, and it starts with the parents, starts at home. So taking out the garbage, making your beds, the little things. Don't put a dish in the sink. Clean it up. You made the mess, clean it. It's about cleaning up after everybody else because we had to clean up a lot of mess that we had in the past. So we had to clean up. That was the biggest thing. I think the huge, most responsible thing we all have to do is understand that we have to trust each other. Okay, the coaches love coaches, players love players, players love coaches, coaches love players. That's something I learned when I was back at Don Bosco Prep, and I continue to bring that throughout. I think that this group right here needs to close out the show. Okay, but not closing the door, closing it and becoming a ghost, meaning that the door will always be open. You need to be idols where people look up to them and continue to look up to them. And as a program, I think that we are heading in the right direction. Knowing that we had to order all new uniforms with a surprise where we have an alternate jersey coming out. It's going to be crazy, but we had to order new uniforms because of that many players reloading. So for us, it's always like the men of 300. We didn't have that many guys. We had different types of guys, but now we're building a whole army, and we're ready to go. And I'm really proud of this program. And GPA-wise and everything we're doing, work ethic, you name it, the future, it's going big. And I think we have something special coming on.
Just like that, that's another episode of the SignatureCAST. We talk bodybuilding, business, and everything in between. The rest of New Jersey, you better watch out because Verona football is coming your way. Peace.